All right, checking the sound. What's going on, guys, gals, aliens, and DJ and freaks? So welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So I'm using a different audio interface, so I just want to make sure that everything is sounding okay and it's not clipping. I'm not hitting the red. I'm not making your ears bleed or anything like that. So let me know, guys, in the chat if my microphone sounds okay and it sounds clear and the video looks good and we're all synced up. Are we good? Are we good to go? Let me get some confirmations in the chat if my mic is loud enough or too loud, or if it's clipping. Looks good on my side, but I just want to make sure it is good on your side as well. So just let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if it sounds good or if it is a little too loud. But let's get into some of this price volatility. We have the presidential debate with Trump and Harris today, and I think that is going to be somewhat of a volatility lead up into that event tonight. And okay, so we're good. Awesome. All right. Awesome that we sound good. Yeah, we're just running through a different interface. I wanted to use a different interface. I think the one that I was using before was kind of having some malfunctions, a little crackly, so we want to make sure we have good sound for you guys, and make sure you guys are hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and we are going to get into basically the topic of today is if Bitcoin is going to go into and fill this gap. But it looks like now that we're actually maybe getting a little bit of momentum. We were getting a retracement off of these ranges. You know, we've had these ranges marked for a little bit, this 57.4 and also this 57.2. We started to trade past up in this range, and now we broke down, and we're trying to test it again. But is this a fake out for the markets to push us down into fill this gap? Because a lot of the times we do fill these gaps, and we'll show you kind of where we filled the gaps previously, and we had this gap right here between 61.3 and 60,000. We ended up filling it right here, and then we had this gap right here, and then we ended up filling it to the downside, and then now we have this gap that has been created at 54,000. So this is the only thing that is getting me just a little. I don't want to get too bullish in the short term because I feel like we still are going to get a move to the downside because the rates have not been cut yet. And usually we get a little bit of a bearish downtrend going into the rate cuts. But then after the rate cuts, then we get the pump. So it makes sense that we would get lower prices, get liquidity grabbed at these recent lows, and have another fake out to the downside, because I feel like everyone was getting they were getting bullish, and now that could have been that move to the upside to fake everyone to go long. And the reason why I'm saying this is because look at this. Look at where the liquidation prices are for all of the longs that had been put in the past 24 hours. The key liquidation area for Bitcoin right now is at 56,000. So once it triggers at 56,000, all these liquidations, if indeed price ends up going down to those levels, then we will see, I think, that gap being filled here at that 54,000 area. So the gap is, just to show you guys, is in between right here in 54,005 and between 53,000 and just a wick right there. Basically, if you look at these wicks, 45,000 to 54.5. And so we just have to see how the market trades today, and could it be filled later this week and we get a pump to the upside again, going up, and actually what seems to be playing out is the pattern that I was kind of calling earlier this week, was a inverse head and shoulders, which has that head, and then we get this shoulder right here, and we just kind of started to trade sideways and then go and try and test up back into that 59,000. So that's what we're looking at currently. And so we'll pull up some levels. We'll pull up the Bitstamp chart. We're trading back into this range of 56.8 and 58,000. We got rejected off of 58,000 right here. Just recently, just yesterday, that was the crush up on Monday. If you were looking at the daily candle on Monday, big daily green candle to the upside, And so this is why we're looking to see if we're going to get a little bit more strength going and trying to test up into 59,000, because then the next stop would indeed be the 62, where we had previous resistance here in the end of August. So that's your bullish case scenarios, that we do range and then start to go past this 58. We got to break the 58,005 level. Once we break that, if we break through that, then we could possibly see a 62 on the cards. But if we get rejected again, then I would say that would make sense for that gap to then be filled for the price here on Bitcoin. Now, this could all be leading up into, like what we said, we have this debate that's going to be happening. We have some interesting things developing. We have Saylor doing massive bullish predictions, but we also have the ETF reverse outflow trend. We had a lot of outflows leading to this bearish price action that we've had recently. And so with that, now we have this reversal going into this week of having positive inflows into the ETFs. And so could this be an actual reversal trend, or are they just kind of catching up? And we'll just have to see. We will have to see. But how are the altcoins doing with this volatility? We'll look at the altcoins and we'll see where we are currently sitting at on the daily. Then we'll go through the weekly. And this is just the top 100. So if you're looking at the top 100 on the daily, a lot of the best performing altcoins right now is Phantom, Optimism. We have Jasmy, Render, Tau, Stacks, Cores doing well. Injective Protocol up 9%, Pepe 5%, and Brett up 5% equally. And then you have Fetch AI 11%, Ton up 5%. So a lot of things in the green on the daily, 5% on Render or on Ruin. And then if you look at the weekly, the biggest performers have been Aave, Sui, FTM, Phantom, Optimism. Helium has been doing really well on the monthly, has been basically outperforming just about everything, and Aave the same with Fetch AI and Phantom. So Phantom is honestly, I think, a really good option of an ecosystem and an altcoin, and they are rebranding to Sonic, called to Sonic blockchain. So we're going to do a little bit more deep dive into that and what that will entail for the future of Phantom. And so basically, if you're looking at the year, the biggest performers on the year, if you were curious, have been Solana, have been Pepe, Floki, and then Bonk, just insane on the year, 8,130%. And then in Helium in that category as well, big gainers, Near Protocol, Render. And so this will kind of give you an idea of what the market over the past year has been bullish on, what the whales have been buying, kind of the market sentiment around what projects people are interested in. People are very interested in DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, real-world assets, memes, and basically, you know, the DeFi space is really going to start picking back up. If you guys remember how DeFi was in the previous cycle when it came down to BNB, BNB had such a massive run on the implementation of their DeFi protocols and smart contracts here in this time. And basically, BNB went from $30, $45 in the beginning of the 2021, in the beginning of of the bull run, and then in 5 months was able to get from $40, $45 all the way to $661. Massive uptick on BNB. And so we're kind of thinking that we're going to have that similar type of run, and it be about a 4 month to 5 month period of where we have this run, and we think it's going to start basically in December, because we got December, January, February, March, April, and then that's those months right there, basically the last 2 months of this year and the first 3 to 4 months of Q1 2025 is going to be where I think we're going to see the biggest gains in this bull market, because then that lines up with traditionally we've had the biggest returns and the biggest gains a year after the halving. So we're only 3.5, 4 months after the halving that happened in April this year. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. We start getting into that sweet spot in January, February, March, where we start to get basically at the what could be the peak of this particular run. And then you can just speculate on what altcoins and what coins against BTC and also against ETH that are going to really blast off during that time. And then your job is to be able to take profits when it starts to get crazy and it feels insane to take profits. But at the same time, why would it feel insane when you're literally up so much from buying the lows right now, waiting 6-7 months to be able to then take the profits? But then sometimes in crypto that feels like forever. It feels like an eternity to wait 6 months to be able to sell something, because you get distracted, you get shaken out, you move around too much, and basically it could be as easy as just putting a couple $1,000s into a mixed bag of 10 cryptos. And picking those 10 cryptos obviously is up to you. I can't tell you what to buy, but you can do your research and find the strong projects that the collective crypto community is deciding that they're the winners. And that's not that hard to do, but the difference is that when you find the winners, you stick with them and you keep on the trajectory. And so this is just how it has to be. We have to go through these cycles like that. And so let me know, guys, if you are on the ride with me, because it will take some time for these things to play out. We just have to see. All right, so let's check on our trades. We were going short. Basically, we were thinking, okay, if this gap is going to be filled, let's try and see if we can hedge into that gap, take profits in the gap, and see if we bounce from that point, and then we can make a decision from there. All right, I see my mic is kind of gaining a little bit, so hopefully I don't sound too loud. And then also, so we're in 2 different trades. We are in a Bitcoin short trade on both of these platforms. And guys, links in the description if you want to trade these markets, whether the market is going up or down. But basically our plan is we're going to take profit right down at the point of control, which at the point of control in the hourly is at the gap. It's actually at the CME gap. So with that being said, we're trading on this, and we obviously we could be wrong, so we have a stop loss. We're gonna have a stop loss set, kind of not a super tight one, but maybe just one that is going to, if so, we start to flip here and start going back bullish, and then the market makers want to say, okay, this is where people's liquidation prices are. Oh, that's perfect, right at 59,000. Well, let's push the price up to 59,000. And so that's what I think was happening right here, is where the market makers were like, look, let's push that price up and see if we can get to 59,000. But we got that rejection, previous resistance right here that brought us actually to this downside to the 52,000, which is so close to the area of this trend line, the trend line support, bull market trend line support of whenever we hit this line, we start to bounce, and we bounced off it right here when we hit this low at 59,000 on the Bitstamp chart. So we tried to hit that again. We were very close, and we did not hit it. So is that the confirmation? Okay, that was the lowest low that we were going to have after this one, higher low, but then it could be that we start trading, fill that gap at 54, and then 52,000 could be the next little smack onto that trend line to then get us to trade back up into the 71,000 range. Because if you see the downtrend here, it makes sense to then, boom, hit right there at that spot. And then that's when we start to get our trading back up into the 71,000 range. Makes so much sense. And or I'll give you a a bullish case scenario, because that is just the bear case to get us back down into a shakeout mode and then push us back up. Or we do this W pattern here and we just go like this and we test back in and then everything is all gravy. But I think because of the rate cuts not being here just yet, and it's not gonna, the rate cuts don't automatically, I think, are going to give us this momentum in the markets. It's almost like I feel like people think like, oh, once Jerome does the rate cuts, then that's just gonna, everything's just gonna pump to the moon. And I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like the market is trying to trick us to think that let's make this an event and go long into it, but I don't know. It might actually get pretty zesty and spicy and all the things that Bitcoin likes to do during these times, especially in the halfway point of getting to our peak prices that we've talked about, the 4-year cycle, the halving cycle. When it happens, the biggest movements are through the year after the halving, and it is usually the last 4 to 5 months that has the craziest volatility and where it is probably the hardest for you to hold, because in one of those points of those 5 months, you end up getting a 35%, 40% downturn, and you think, dang, it actually might be over. And then the market says, nah, you're done. And then you get absolutely wrecked. But this could be playing out. This could be playing out because we said, look, the market loves to try and make you go long, and especially look at all these liquidation levels. Look at all of these liquidation levels, high liquidation levels in the long trades for leverage, is like really like high at this price at 56,000. So if we start breaking down below 56,000, then it's going to trigger a lot of liquidations. And so it could be that then now it's going to start filling orders down at that CME gap. A lot of the times before, we weren't really heavily paying attention to the CME gaps, but then all of a sudden we recognized, oh wow, these things are actually getting filled. They're actually getting filled within a day to 24 to 48 hours. They get filled. So when that gap was created, you have to think to yourself, okay, there's probably a high probability of that thing getting filled, and so it could be that we are getting a rejection and we're not getting enough strength and volume on that move to the upside. Then we could easily just form basically a head and shoulders pattern here on the 45-minute and get us right back into this area of support. And then we have to hold it. We don't hold 54 and we go down through there, which is right here at this spot, then the obvious point would be right on the trend line at 52,000, which would be right in this purple box. If you're looking at this purple box, this is kind of our stopping point, I think, of where we think price could be going, is just basically right into this area of 52, 51. Right here we hit 52, 52.5 was where we bounced. So the market would love to just get another nice little wick down right in there. Right up, right in that purple zone, right in that purple box. But don't quote me on this. Don't quote me on this. I'm trying to trade on the gap. I'm trying to trade on this gap. It's not a bad indicator of where price might end up going in the short term here. So we took the trades, and then we will flip bullish based on if we are going to hold the line at filling the gap. If we don't hold the line at filling the gap, then we will be going lower. I feel that leads up to whales just accumulating hard, because even with this market, the market sentiment is kind of low, but the whales still keep accumulating. So that's just what's happening right now. Okay, so we had this was really, people were really bullish on this appearance of Michael Saylor on Squawk Box, and they were talking about Bitcoin. And basically, the key thing that you could take out of this is that you just buy Bitcoin and you hold it for 4 years, and you see what happens. Have the conviction to hold something for longer than freaking 3 months. Crypto degenerates, I know, that watch this channel, you have a hard time holding things even for 3 months. So we all have to, have a come to Jesus moment here on this channel and think, okay, do we actually want to retire? Do we want to retire early, or are we just playing games here? Because at a point, you have to have some conviction and go into it hard, because that's exactly what Michael Saylor did, and it served him well. Guess what? It also served Da Vinci well, because he was like, I'm going in hard. I'm holding this thing for the next 5 to 10 years, and let's see what happens. Kind of worked out pretty well for him. So you have to sometimes get off of crypto Twitter. You got to get out of the crypto Twitter casino. You have to step out and get the light to shine in your eyes and be like, oh yeah, it's not just about those quick, what's the next 1000x? It's like, guys, the next 1000x actually might be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to $1 million. Could just be on Team Bitcoin and make it really easy for yourself. But I digress. It's so, when you're in crypto, it's hard to not look at all the things that are happening. There's so many different narratives. There's so many different coins. But sometimes it could be just as easy as just keep studying Bitcoin, learn the halvings, learn the cycles, hedge a little bit into the altcoins, of course. But ultimately, the goal is to get more sats, because there's nothing else in the world that is going to give you that type of monetary protection and fiscal protection than Bitcoin, and it's been proven. And so this is really interesting. So this is developing. I'm not sure if this is real or not, but it's apparently Elon is facing possible UK Parliament summons, and I said, don't go. It's a freaking trap. You see what happened to Paulov. So don't do it, Elon. We need you. All right, and so we're going through some of our old tweets here. Just want to show you that this is pretty funny. That's pretty accurate. All right, so let's go into... I still think this
Bitcoin.
I still think this is so fascinating. Sorry, headphones users wrecked. All right, so I actually kind of want you guys to do this with me. We can do an experiment together. We can actually go out on the streets and ask people what they think the price of Bitcoin is, and even if they own some or if they know what it is at all. So let's watch this. I love watching this.
For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin? You know Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency?
0.47.
What? Ladies, quick question. For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin?
Let me know if the sound's okay.
No idea. What is the price of Bitcoin?
What is the price of Bitcoin? What is it? What the price is for one Bitcoin?
Yeah.
0?
For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin right now?
Maybe.
No. You have to tell me what the price is of Bitcoin. You know Bitcoin? You don't know. For £10, what is the price of Bitcoin right now?
I have no idea.
You want to guess?
I don't know, 2,000? 200?
What if I said 60,000? Yeah. It's time to get into crypto. In the biggest bubble. I forget. You know?
We sometimes forget we are in a big bubble in crypto. Retail is not here. Retail is not here, guys. They don't know. They don't know. But you got to remember, we were also retail as well. You got to remember, we were at a point retail, and now we've been orange pilled. We've been onboarded into the ecosystem. And so, yeah, sometimes you kind of forget that there's still a big portion of the population of people that don't understand Bitcoin. And it's going to, so basically once they start to understand it, I hate to say it, but once they really actually understand it, it might be too late. It might be too late for them to acquire one Bitcoin. Doesn't mean they can't buy portions of it, but guess what? It's going to be offered at a mass premium at that point. Because at the point where, like, the like masses start to go, oh crap, like we should have been thinking about this way long ago. Bitcoin's going to be at like 500,000 or $1 million per coin. And then that's when you're like, okay, I had the chance to buy Bitcoin, one Bitcoin at 30K, 40K, 50K, because the difference of 50, 60K, which we're ranging between right now, $50,000 and $60,000, and now one of those is worth $500,000. You see the thing here. You're starting to understand. So it's going to be harder and harder for the average person to own one Bitcoin. So even owning a quarter or a half of one right now is, you are putting yourself in a percentage of people on the planet that is very small, very, very small. And that at some point, there will be not enough room for that percentage gap, and people are going to wish they had pieces of the best asset in the world. And so this is why we are still, we're on the road. We're on the road to 100K, but until then, it kind of almost seems like this.
Damn it.
So it could be that until we get to that 100K, we just keep doing the escalator to hell. And but we'll be okay. We'll be okay, guys. I think ultimately we will be okay. But yeah, and just to keep the bullishness going, because we don't want to be too bearish. We want to be bullish. We are bullish long term, of course. So Fidelity, managing 4.9 trillion, predicts that the price of one Bitcoin could reach $1 billion by 2038. Now that's quite a prediction. That's mega. That's mega, because there's a lot of people that are thinking, okay, by 2030, Bitcoin could be at like $13 million. $13 million. That's insane. That's what Michael Saylor actually has been predicting, that $13 million by 2030. That's, I mean, come on. And you think, okay, to own a quarter of a Bitcoin or even portions of a Bitcoin and it being at 13 million, I mean, that is a massive hedge against the financial system. And I don't know, guys. I think the next 4 years is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, the next 5 to 6 months is going to basically dictate the rest of our 4-year life. Like the next 4 years in our lives is basically going to be determined by the next by the next 5 to 6 months of the decisions that we make right now in this period are going to dictate how our lives are and how you are going to operate in the next 4 years. You have to think about that. What you do right now is going to determine how your next 4 years of your life with you and your family is going to be. Okay? You have to know that. So you got to plan, you got to be ready, you got to be able to act, you have to be able to thrive during these volatile times, because guess what? It's not going to get any easier. It's going to keep getting a little harder, to be honest. It doesn't get easier. You just learn how to weave and surf the wave of sometimes the difficult things that come through, and whether it be this volatility, but also to know that, like, look, there are no safe places now for your fiat and also for your hard-earned money to go into besides crypto, to be honest, because people will make you think, oh yeah, you'll lose all your money in crypto. Well, guess what? You're going to lose all your money holding your cash, because you're not going to be able to freaking, you don't have the same purchasing power. It's different. The purchasing power is completely different. And it's changed so drastically over the past 3 years that people's average expenses, if they were $3,000 or $4,000 before. Well, now guess what? It's been doubled. Now people have to pay an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month on top of what they were already paying to basically pay the bills, get groceries, all that stuff. So what is the answer? You have to put it in something that is going to appreciate. You have to put it in something that's going to move. You have to put it in something that has now it is more risky to not be into Bitcoin, as an example, than it is to not be in Bitcoin. It's more risky to not be in Bitcoin than to be in it. And some people would think, and that's how the retail is thinking right now, that it's like, it's just too risky, I don't understand it. But they don't understand that what they are, the system that they're in, is the ultimate risk. Because once you're really ingrained into that system, you are a pawn, you are a battery that the Matrix is using to siphon energy out of you. You have to look at yourself. It's just like how the Matrix taught you. Morpheus said they turn a regular person and a human being with dreams and hopes and aspirations into a battery. They turn you into a battery, which then they can plug you as a battery in their system to then make it work. That's the only way that the Matrix system works, is by you accepting that fate as a battery for the system, and you just plug yourself in, and then there you go. And then you get plugged in. But guess what? There are programs that are running in the system that, guess what? They're going against that. That's what Bitcoin is. It's a program that has been put and installed on this computer of life in this game that we can then now understand and help break us out of becoming a freaking battery for the system. That is the ultimate thing that you can do to yourself and break your mind out of this matrix, is to understand that the system views you as a number and a battery, not a human soul. So Bitcoin, I think, operates on a different level of existence in monetary freedom. And that is why it is so important to start to understand it, why even if it was created by the CIA or whatever, or created by some type of offshoot of our secret government programs, then thank God someone was in that system and they said, oh crap, it's getting out of hand. We need an exit strategy. Even if it was an exit strategy for themselves and they knew that the whole world could adopt it, then hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Because I know there's a lot of conspiracies. I know there's all those thoughts of like, hey, if it wasn't one person, if it was our government that created it, if it was the big families that created it because they knew the things that they're doing is going to eventually crash the system, and then that's their actual own way. Because then they use the debt and all the trillions of dollars that they print, and then they just buy Bitcoin. Maybe that's the plan all along. But it's all conspiracy theories. We don't know. It's a conspiracy. It's a theory. But we know now for a fact that Bitcoin has been now tried and tested to be a pretty damn good experiment in money, and probably now is I think unanimously is the strongest money that you can probably hold, because it's liquid, it's open 24 hours a day. There's a collection of global miners of a network that keep the network going. And as long as you have a device and an internet connection, then you can transact. So it solves a lot of those issues. It solves a lot of the problems that we are facing in this world today. So that's what can get you a little bit more bullish on the idea and why you would want to even start to research and get into crypto to begin with. And so retail has to think about it that way. Bitcoin is a representation, Bitcoin's price is a direct representation of where we are at in the world. Think about it. Bitcoin's price is the direct correlation of what is happening in our world right now. So when Bitcoin is at $1 million per coin, the world's going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot different. Mark my words, like Bitcoin at $1 million per coin, look at how the world's going to be. It's going to be a lot different. It will be substantially different. And I'm kind of excited, but also that road to $1 million is going to be paved literally by the fallen holders that were not able to hold long enough. That road will be steamrolled over people that were not able to hold the damn thing long enough to see it go to $1 million. Only few people will. I'm sorry, but it's the honest truth that most people are going to sell. They're going to sell at the point where they're not going to get to that type of percentage gain. They won't. I mean, I might not. But that's the hope. But guess what? It's going to be a battle because the road is paved by the fallen holders who are not able, and there's Twitter messages all over the board. There's old Twitter posts from people saying, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm selling. I'm tired of this. And guess what the price was? It was at like $2,000. People, I mean, it's across the board in every cycle. People give up, and then all of a sudden, it's like one of the biggest regrets in their trading career in their life. So actually, just in their life in general. Some people knew about Bitcoin way back, had the opportunity to buy a lot of it, and all you have to do, I say it is so easy, all you have to do is just hold it until it's literally worth millions of dollars, and then you sell it. But you're not going to do that. Especially if you're on crypto Twitter. Oh my God, if you're on crypto Twitter, good luck. Good freaking luck being on crypto Twitter, the scammiest freaking place in the entire world when it comes to crypto. And you'll sell your stuff. I mean, come on. I will tell you guys right now, I sold my Pepe way too early because of crypto Twitter, and it's my fault. It's not crypto Twitter's fault. It's my fault for paying attention to garbage. I could have just bought Pepe and called it a day. That's what's wild, Yoga with the Ohmies. That's what's wild, Yoga with the Ohmies. And I know you guys probably have a very similar story of like, makes you do that. All right, well, the trades aren't looking too bad, so it could be that we are going to fill that gap. We're gonna have to see how the rest of the day goes, but we are up a little bit. These are small trades. They're small little scalpy trades to see what we can do with this short-term volatility, and so that's what we're doing with that. And if you guys want to support the channel directly and make sure that we keep the lights on, I guess you could say, is that if you're using all the links in the description, we don't have any private trading groups or anything like that, or any kind of paid Patreon or, whatever. We do have just like the regular, on YouTube, you can be a member of the channel and you can have a cool custom emoji, little Pepe emoji by your name. And we are going to, once we get a little bit more members and we start to get some more action on the channel, we do want to do a specific members only live streams where we've just been trying to figure out like when exactly we want to do that. Just some like members only live streams or some Discord hangouts where we can we can like play like a certain game or something like that together, or just something where we can make the community grow and we all get to know each other and we can just hang out. All right, so we got some questions coming in. We got hopefully I say your name right, Jocasta Gonzalez. Jocasta Gonzalez, welcome. So, hey, Dano, can you look at Link? How high can it go as per your TA? Thank you. Yes, of course. We love Chainlink. We think Chainlink is kind of like one of those safe bet altcoins that a lot of people like to talk about in terms of, okay, what's your safe bet altcoin play? Well, it's Link, and Link right now is so cheap. I mean, if you're a fan of Link and it's under $15, that is massively cheap, because you got to think the last range that we just broke down from was from $17 and $18 and all around in these ranges right here. You got to think this is massive accumulation mode for Link. It basically went back into the range of where we're in the bear market. A little bit of this bear market territory, all going through the beginning of 2022 here, mid 2022, then going into 2023. So like we're basically sitting right above that bull market, bear market support that we kind of come out of right here. And then these were the runs in March this year that actually got us back into some of those ranges of the previous market here in 2021. Because look, Matic had these different levels hit whenever, and this was in, you got to think, May was actually when Link started to really crush it. It was like 51, and then we had the kind of double top in the market. It tried to recover back up to its all-time highs, but it wasn't able to do it. It basically got rejected off of previous resistance before the run at $35. So resistance at 35, resistance at 38. Then it could not get back up, and it went right back down into this range, which is in between 17 and 18, and then tried to trade back up, got rejected off of 28. And then since then, at $28, it has not been able to get back up to $28 since the previous bull market highs of the previous bull market here. So if you are just looking to accumulate Chainlink, this is a great opportunity for most altcoins, because most altcoins right now, even though we've had some runs, like if you're looking at, you're looking at most of the altcoins, like you're looking at the monthly or the year, I mean, like a lot of these things have been doing pretty well in terms of the week and the monthly, but this is just like 48%, 38%, 27%. Big deal. When you start to get into the actual bull market, this is that's nothing. So you have to think, like, look, at Chainlink at $10 and you're spot buying it at $10, cheap as hell, just to get back up to the previous lows is 173% move to the upside. And then if you think, okay, let's go back up to even maybe like some of these resistance levels, that is 258% move to the upside. And then you think, okay, let's see if Chainlink can even just trade back up, and look at where we're sitting at too. If you look at exactly where we're sitting in these prices, that's support. That's support from previous markets. So is if anything, you can say, all right, if we even get up to our previous high, which is $52, $53, that's a 400% move to the upside. So that's why people pick Chainlink as their safe bet. They're like, without Chainlink, DeFi doesn't exist in a sense. Like there and just aggregates of price and just all these different aspects of how DeFi is operating. Chainlink is kind of like the back end of that. Chainlink helps out a lot. So it's kind of like one of those utility tokens that if you're like, okay, if there's utility, Link has the utility, and you can hold that in confidence. And so right now, in the short term, if you're looking like, okay, in the short term, Chainlink a lot of the times gets momentum when Ethereum moves. So when Ethereum moves, we get Chainlink momentum. Okay? So Chainlink momentum, this could be a bit of a, let's see if we're looking on the 2 hour. I don't know why I'm not getting, so let me move my chart. There we go. There we go. Kind of getting kind of a looks like we could be getting, it's kind of, this is an interesting triangle pattern forming here. Is if we get strength on Ethereum, we just need strength on Ethereum, we could just push right back up into this 15. So I would say short-term price action, if we get a movement to the upside, then yeah, then this would be kind of the level to watch here. $15, $14, previous resistance from the wedge descend. And so yeah, $15. look for that. But man, the fact that Chainlink is under $15 is a absolute steal. I'm sure you guys agree. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that a Chainlink at $10 is an absolute fire sale. I think so. And even Solana right now at $134. The price predictions for Solana, I think in the long term, we can easily trade back up into these ranges of $190. So basically, this is the resistance that we had been hitting through the year, and this was at 184 to 195, and then also right up to the top here, 204. So these were resistance points that Solana has been hitting. So basically, from its breakout, this has been the stopping point. This has been the stopping point here. But then you could go into maybe the daily and think that, okay, Solana could be also forming a cup and handle pattern on the daily, just like Ethereum and Bitcoin have been forming. So Bitcoin and Ethereum have been forming this cup and handle pattern. And I guess if you were to go into what cup and handle patterns a lot of the times do, is they do this sideways chop action, and then we get the breakout. So, but what's really difficult is to time exactly when we will get that confirmation breakout to the upside, because the depth of the cup is usually what the run-up will be from the sideways consolidation to get us above the middle point of the range. Because you see, these are the middle point of the ranges where we had the resistance from the previous market right here, 2021, boom, and then look, get that sideways chop, and then a move to the upside. So, but we have to watch all these levels once we hit them, because these are resistance points that we've been hitting for this year. So if we start to break up, we don't get too much resistance here, then the obvious target would be the previous bull market's resistance, which was at $262 per Solana. And I've compared the movement of Solana, I think, with what BNB did last cycle. Total Home said, one of those job things would help me would help me be able to buy some Bitcoin. Yeah, I know. Yeah, one of those jobs things, one of those things where you got to go and work and get money. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm doing it too. We're still working little side gigs and stuff like that, trying to pull in some extra cash to make sure that we are ready. We are ready for this run, guys. I know you're doing the same thing. I know, like, times are tough right now. You guys are probably, I bet you guys are working your full-time job. I bet you're working your part-time job. I bet you're doing side hustles, because literally, if you were to actually analyze, and I loved all the analysis of the jobs data that people were doing, especially Crypto Kid, and then also shout out to David Gogstein. He was really putting it home on his show yesterday. He was like, look, the jobs data is bull. He's like, the jobs data is like, most of these jobs that they're saying are created are government jobs. They're not even actual like true jobs that are being created for like every working class Americans, like trade jobs, and a lot of those jobs are being taken by you know who, people that are coming into the country. And so cheap labor, and then it's going to cheap labor. Americans get siphoned out. They're not able to get the wages that they actually want to get paid. And then they end up having to not get a full-time employment. They can't get full-time employment because it doesn't exist with benefits or anything like that anymore. There's no pension. There's no this. There's no that. That doesn't happen anymore. The average American person is begging to try and get full-time employment because they're part-time. There's 7 part-time jobs that they have to work. Guess what? They're only getting like maybe 2 days at their part-time job, or they're getting like a couple of days here, couple days there, and then they have to spread it out across a bunch of bullshit to make ends meet. So most of the jobs that were created were part-time jobs. They're not full-time jobs with benefits and all that, because guess what? The companies that are putting out these job reports and saying that, oh, yeah, we have plenty of positions. No, you don't. You're a liar. You're a liar. those positions don't actually exist, and you're actually cutting costs, and you're actually probably firing more people than you're hiring, and that's the reality. So, and you guys know it. I know you know it. You know what I'm talking about is true. It's because they try and fake the numbers. They gaslight us into making us think that everything is okay, but it's not. The past 4 years have been an absolute disaster, and you can see by the cost of everything. It is insane. The cost of goods and services is through the freaking roof. And so the only way that you're going to be able to protect yourself is to make some freaking moves. You have to make some moves. You have to make a choice. Like, am I going to keep running on this hamster wheel, for the next 2-3 years again? Oh, let me just keep running on this fucking hamster wheel, see how long I can run before I pass out? Or do you make a freaking change right now and start doing something about it? Because we're at that point right now. We're at that point where we can't, as Americans and people, just keep running on the freaking hamster wheel. I'm done running on the damn hamster wheel. So that's why this year, me and as a family, we are making some mega changes. I mean, it's like there's no more hamster wheel happening around in this area. And so I know you relate to this. Put a 1 in the chat if you are done with the damn hamster wheel. Because I know I'm done. Done with the damn hamster wheel. It's basically out of control at this point. Out of control. All right. We're getting just a little fired up, but all good. It's because it's just this, it's getting to the point where, like, you have to start to implement a strategy in your life. You have to start implementing something that is going to protect you from all of this BS that's happening. Because just like I said, system thinks you're a battery. The system wants you to be a little pawn battery in their little, like, imagine like a giant piano, an electric piano, and they got to pop in all these batteries to make it work and to play the doom tune of your inevitable demise. And guess what? You're part of that battery. They're going to pop in all those AA batteries, and once they get them all in, close it up, and then they go, and then they play the doom song. Don't let them play the doom song. Don't let them play the doom tune with your energy. No, you put your energy in something else. You put your hard-earned work and your hard-earned time and energy into something else. Because you're worth more than that. You're worth more. We are worth more as a collective, as people, than to be literally funding their agenda. We are funding their agenda. So let's stop that. Let's stop that. Let's stop doing that. If you guys agree with me, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Put some emojis in the chat. Put your pepes in the chat if you agree with me. I don't even know how many people are watching right now. I probably scared you guys off. I might have just scared you guys all off. I always jokingly say that I might scare people away from my channel if I indeed start stepping onto the soapbox that is under my my desk right now. But I know you guys agree. I know you guys feel that. And a lot of the times we're in these positions where we feel like we can't even say anything about it because then people are like, what are you talking about? And it's like, no, it's kind of the reality. This is what is happening in real time. And so this is why, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, 15 views. Hit the likes, guys. Hit the likes. We got people in here. So we got some people watching. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it for tuning in. And let's see how many people are watching on. Oh, we got 20 people on Twitter. Let's go. Sometimes the Twitter algorithm will actually start to work out. So if you are watching on X right now, Sorry, I still keep calling it Twitter. I say like Twitter X or X Twitter because if you say X and someone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, bird social, X. Say, yo, yo, yo. I want to know who you are, where you're watching from. And, yeah, we'd like to hear from you. We would like to hear from you. All right, do we have anything else we'd like to show you guys? Let's see. Bitcoin price. The Bitcoin price. Could it fill the gap? That's what we're looking at, guys. That's where we're kind of seeing. I think, overall, possible that this gap could be filled by the end of the day. The gap was formed on the 8th. Sorry, not the 8th. Let's see. We got to go right here. Gap formed. Yeah, 8th. Formed over the weekend. So, they tend to get filled. So this is what we're trading on. We're trading on the fillage. Do we fill it and then go long? Well, we have to see what happens. But I hope you guys are along for the ride. I know you are. But when in doubt, just zoom out. When in doubt, just zoom out. This is what you call the banana zone, where it kind of starts to get a little bananas. We're right in that pinnacle point of the banana zone to get us into the red of Crazy Town. But we got some things happening today that I know you guys are interested in. You are very much interested in what is going to happen, I think, with the debate tonight. We have a massive debate. I think we're all going to be tuning into this one. We want to see what's happening. I know you guys are interested. There's going to be some things mentioned. There's going to be things that we hope they mention. I think a big topic is going to be the border. And I think they should focus on that very much so, because if you didn't know, Harris is the border czar, and for the past 4 years, we've had hundreds of thousands of people pouring into the United States. So we'll see what she has to say about that. And amongst other topics, if they mention Bitcoin or crypto at all, which they did not do on the last debate, this will, I think, create a short-term mega pump. Like just a short-term pump. If they even just mention it at all, whether it be bullish or bearish, I think the price is probably indeed going to go up. So we'll see how that volatility goes. We just have to watch the markets. But just, guys, just know this. It will be a volatile day today. It's going to be volatile. So being in trades, just be careful. Practice your risk management, and just know that the prices right now are just, I mean, we are ranging like in a gun range right now. I mean, just shots are being fired everywhere. It's just like it's ranging. Bitcoin is ranging, and it's always very annoying when we are just sitting in these ranges and we don't really know exactly if we're just going to be going to the upside or the downside. But that's the game. That's the game that we have to play. But if you know that Bitcoin, historically with these cycles, has gone up after the halving, then you know we're still in a bull market. You know we're still in a bull market, so you have to keep that in mind. But all right, guys, make sure you are tuning in to these live streams regularly, and if you have been already, God bless you guys. You guys are awesome, and it means a lot that you guys are coming in and giving me your time and your ears and your eyes, or however you're watching, however you're listening. I really do appreciate it. It really helps out the channel, and it helps this grow. It helps grow this community. And this channel is not about me. It's not about anything like that. I don't care. It's all about just building up this community, just building up the channel, building up our knowledge of crypto together. And we want to keep doing cool stuff with this channel, and there's always opportunities to do something fun, do something cool, and expand this thing. And I'm glad you guys are along the ride with me, because without you, we wouldn't have a channel. We wouldn't have the live stream if no one was watching. So pat yourselves on the back. Know that you are the legends, that you are here before everyone else. And when all the retail starts flooding into all the channels and they start watching Dano Crypto, you guys can be like, hey, I was here first. But all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate you. And make sure you guys are using all the links in the description. And I know some people were popping in, some people popping in late, but make sure you go back and watch the live stream from the beginning. Skip through it if you want. You know, obviously you don't have to sit through the whole thing and listen to me yap my trap, but hopefully if you can just, you know, you can pick some different things and different parts of the stream you want to check out. And yeah, make sure you turn on your notifications, ding the bell, all that stuff, and use the links, the trading links in the description. A lot of the exchanges that I use, and if whatever is in this description of the video, which I'll just show you guys real quick, I actually really like to personally use. I'm not just, you know, promoting them for some, you know, like money reasons or anything like that. No, it's just because like I actually legitimately like these platforms and they're really easy to use. And so I like to promote what just what has been working for me so far. So with that being said, I'll just show you really quick what I have been very interested in as of late. And so we got, if you didn't know, we are partners of BYBIT. So if you sign up with BYBIT and you're able to KYC and use all their services, do so with my link. And then also with BITFLEX as well. And then we have OURBIT, and then also with COINBASE and Crypto.com. So all of these we really like to use. We actively use all of these exchanges all different times and like them for all different reasons. So let me know if you haven't used these yet, and let me know your experience with signing up. And obviously you get bonuses and all that stuff, and all of these platforms have different incentives for you to use them and earn different rewards. So I suggest just get familiar with using different exchanges, different platforms, and practice sending in and out your crypto and transactions between your cold wallets, between your hot wallets, I mean, and, you know, say like your MetaMask and your Phantom. Say you're like, okay, like let me buy some Solana, and then I'll send it to my Phantom and then do a swap. Same thing like with you know, say you made some gains on OURBIT or PHEMEX or BITFLEX or wherever you're trading on, and you're like, what do I do with it? Well, take some of that USDT or buy some Ethereum, and then take that Ethereum and send it to your wallet and practice holding it and don't touch it. And so that could be a good strategy, how you can keep the momentum going. And, you know, a question was asked in the Discord, and it was a legitimate question, because it's like, dude, I mean, you're not the only one. And the general question was, where was it in the trade setups? The question was, does anyone have any tips for not taking impulse trading decisions? Lost basically all my gains because of it, and I'm really feeling like I need to find a way for more sustainable trading. And so that's an honest, you know, question and realization that you come to when you start to test out trading, you start to test out leveraging. You see other people trading and leverage trading. You see them making all these gains. And you're like, why is that not happening? And so we've been in the same spot. We've been we've done really well. We've done really bad. And we've done the FOMO trading. We've basically made the mistakes. And so, and sometimes it takes that. It sometimes takes you doing that to be like, God, you feel the sting, and then you learn from those, because then you can say, okay, well, what did I do? Like, what I didn't have enough confirmations. Was I just like jumping in because I was FOMO trading? And then at the same time, were you just being completely reckless and not having any stop losses set? Did you have a clear like direction of where you were wanting to exit the trade, take profits? And then on to caveat this and parallel this with what my strategy is, and what I used as a mechanism to actually make a lot of gains. But guess what, guys? I got too bullish. I got too bullish on making all those gains. And a lot of those gains, I don't say a lot, but a good portion of them got eaten up by the market, because I didn't appreciate it enough. I didn't realize that I had it pretty damn good at that point to where the market was rewarding me for being right. But then you get too greedy. You get too greedy, and then at that point is when you feel greedy. Oh, you better take that money and run, because at that point when you're feeling greedy is the moment where you could lose it all. So have a strategy and a plan. Have risk management. Implement it. If it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Assess, reassess, implement the strategy, try again. And then when you do have gains, when you do have some gains in your trading account, and say you put in $100 and then you just tripled it, take out that $100 that you initially put in to protect it, and maybe an extra $50 or so. Take out 150. Then you're working with something substantial. You made your gains. Then set a stop loss at break even, to where then no matter where the direction of the market goes, you made money. And then so that is how you can protect yourself and protect your gains that you have made. It's not easy. It sounds easy. That's what's hilarious. It sounds easy, but sometimes it can be one of the most difficult things to do, because there's a lot of emotions that can come into play that makes that difficult. So it's an emotional game sometimes. You have to cut the emotions out, implement the strategy, and just keep on the grind. Because the moment you quit and you just give up, then you're quitting. You're giving up. You're not giving yourself the room to grow and learn from these experiences. And that's with anything. Like, people now are so used to instant gratification. They want shit happening now, and they want it now. I want it now. I want the millions right now. And it's like, dude, if you got the millions right now, you'd probably lose it the next day, because you got it so fast. You didn't appreciate it. You didn't work hard for it. So you're probably going to lose it. And so you see that time and time again with people who get quick money. A lot of the times they lose it. 80% of the people that win the lottery, they go into debt and they lose it all, because they got all this big money and they weren't already responsible or fiscally responsible. They didn't have any plans or strategies of anything of what they were going to do. Guess what? They blew it all. So it is what it is. So if you have that in your head, that, okay, it takes some time, I have to work at it, it's a process, you will be successful. Just by that thought process alone, you will be successful. You will outperform most people, because you just didn't quit. You didn't give up. You didn't throw in the freaking towel when shit got hard. You keep going. So that's my advice for you guys, because and I'm talking to myself. I can't tell you, I've had my moments recently. These past 2 years, 3 years of being in crypto, bro, I've been like I mean, I had thousands of dollars in Voyager go kaput, and Luna, Luna crash. Like all the money that I was DCAing into, like stuff, like I was at the time, all kinds of different money going everywhere. As of course I want all my money to go into crypto, but that's not the reality for people. Most people are trying to pay bills. They gotta pay. They gotta do their thing, you know. So it's like, maybe you only have like $100 to kind of put in crypto. You built it up to cup thousands of dollars, and all of a sudden the market just goes kaput, major crash. And if you weren't fast enough to get out of that, you got wrecked. But do you quit at that point? Do you just give up? Do you say, oh, well, honey, we're just going to quit. We'll go back to just working our normal jobs for the rest of our lives, and then we'll retire at 65. No, that's not the plan. Not the plan. So, yeah. And then also, just like we had been saying, a good, like Nathan Roth says, you could also just buy and hold and not trade at all. You could just buy and hold and not trade at all, because leverage is it's not even a double-edged sword. It's a sword that has swords on it. Like, leverage is like a sword that has like multiple swords like in it. Like sticking out of it like a barbed sword. That's leverage. So leverage is a nasty game sometimes. It can be very, very rewarding and beneficial. But the difference is that it can also absolutely destroy you, because it just can. It just, historically, it will wreck people. And funny enough, all these longs and shorts and liquidations and all that stuff is actually what ends up making the market makers the most of the money, because they can see where you're putting your stop losses, and they can see where you're putting in your break evens or wherever you're putting your profit takings. And guess what? Market makers are the ones that are holding most of the Bitcoin to be able to trade on your freaking head. So that's why it's actually just a better hedge against the market makers to just buy spot and say this. And you can go, I'm going to buy this and I'm just going to hold it. I don't care where the price goes. And it could be as easy as that. So sorry to get kind of like, I don't think I'm getting aggressive, but I think it's just a lot of the times it's just an interesting game. It is a game. It's a game that you have to play if you're willing to play that game. But that's with anything with money, investing. You have to put the time, the effort, and you have to put in the research. You just have to do it. This is the only way. Most people aren't thinking about investing right now. They're not thinking about investing. They're not thinking about that. This is not the reality. Like they are not like thinking about, how do I invest? There's a very small portion of people that are thinking like that. They're not thinking like that. They are thinking, how do I survive because my expenses just went up $2,000? And here's the real conversations that's happening at home right now between, say, a husband and a wife, or I'll just say partners that are living together. Because I don't want to subject it to just like one type of group of people, a husband and wife. So your partners living together, and you're doing your finances together. You've combined, everything's combined, and guess what? $2,000 over the past 2 years has been added into your expenses. $2,000. Okay. Now, probably the reality is that you're not like you weren't able right off the bat to just be like, yeah, just let me like pay an extra $2K for all of these expenses. And so then now you're having to literally make that extra $2K come from somewhere. And then say you're in crypto, or you're wanting to invest, and you're that person, you're thinking you want to invest, and you go to your wife or your partner or whoever it is, and you say, oh, do you think we could, like, the conversation of investing is not even on the table. That's like not even on the table. They're like, bro, we got to buy groceries. We can't invest right now. So that is the reality and the conversation that's happening across America, all across the board. 90% of people are not having the investment conversation. They're like budgeting of like exactly how much money they're bringing in, so where they can like make ends meet. That's what's happening. That is the reality. That's the reality. And so that's why the next 4 months, 6 months of your decision making right now is going to dictate what is going to happen to you and your entire family for the next 4 years. So start getting a little serious about it, and start thinking that maybe all of the signs and all these things that are happening around me might be more to pay attention to than just trying to like keep running on the hamster wheel. So with that being said, guys, with the long-winded closeout, I hope that helps you get a little bit more bullish and a little bit more motivated to get on that strategy, get on that plan. And if you're kind of just like shoulder brushing, like you're not really understanding the severity of like what the next 4 years is going to be like, if you don't start to like actively plan your life out, The system will plan it for you. The system will 100% take your little booty, your little battery, and pop you into the back of the system to power it up. Because all it takes is your participation. The moment you start to unparticipate in the system is the moment you have broken out of the matrix, my friend. And with that being said, we'll see you on the stream later today at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God bless every single one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out if you did not. And if you were just coming in, make sure you go back and watch the live stream. Go back and watch the other live streams and get the analysis of the past week. And yeah, I'll see you guys later today. Peace out.